Hi, I'm Melanie Zampardo. I've played varsity volleyball, basketball, tennis, and golf here at Liggett. I'll also be playing tennis for Wayne State University this fall. And my question relates to the differing factors when motivating female and male athletes, in order to reach an understanding that can help coaches ensure long-term success and enjoyment of athlete sports. I chose this topic because it's been relevant to me throughout my athletic career.
Motivation is the simple foundation of athletes in their prime performance and is known as a prerequisite in allowing athletes to achieve their full potential. It's known as one of the top influencers on burnout versus success rates. I'll be talking about two different types of motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic, as well as their importance in sports. Those who are intrinsically motivated are more geared towards self-reference standards and define success based on self-physical improvement, effort, and learning, while those who are extrinsically motivated define success based on materialistic criteria such as outperforming others and demonstrating superior ability with minimal effort. In short, athletes with more intrinsic motivation enjoy the sport as it is, while athletes who are extrinsically motivated are looking for some type of reward. As you can see from this chart, task-involved or intrinsically motivated athletes find motivation through individual mastery of a skill, self-improvement, and experience self-confidence through their own abilities and improvements. While ego-involved or extrinsically motivated athletes find motivation through social comparisons, outperforming others, and experience self-confidence when people see them as a winner or receive a materialistic award such as a trophy. It's been observed that those who have a higher intrinsic motivation are far less likely to report psychological withdrawal from their sport and suffer burnout. So in my project, I looked at how coaches can help develop their players to become more intrinsically motivated. Fortunately, I found evidence from Sarah Stone, the founder and chief executive officer of the Women's Tennis Coaching Association and professional tennis coach herself, that motivation is not always something athletes are simply born with. It is possible for a coach to develop a player's intrinsic motivation, which is essential for long-term success and enjoyment of any sport. A democratic coaching style involves more listening and has been observed to have more positive effects on athletes than an autocratic coaching style, in which the coach has full power. This leads me to the two main coaching styles that I looked at in my project, the controlling coach and the autonomy supportive coach. In a study conducted at Brockport State University by Mike Microne, he states, when autonomy is supported and athletes become self-determined in their motivation, research shows that these athletes achieve greater success in their overall improvement and performance when participating in their respective sport or activity. In other words, self-drive is one of the most important causes for motivation, and a controlling coaching style can very quickly take this away from an athlete, allowing them to become complacent. Autonomous teaching styles have been found to allow for higher levels of intrinsic motivation than controlling teaching styles. This is due to high school athletes' desire for independence. I can tell you personally, not one person on any of my teams has ever appreciated being micromanaged by a coach. If anything, I've seen this cause increased lack of motivation and effort in my teammates. Athletes with higher levels of intrinsic motivation perceived that their coaches provided high frequencies of positive and informationally based feedback, and low frequencies of punishment-oriented and ignoring behaviors. Which leads me to the two types of learning styles. Examples of positive incentives include encouragement and praise after doing something right, more focus on the good parts than the bad parts, hence the positive in the title, while negative incentives would include sprints in practice after doing something wrong or benching the player during a game. So now I'm going to be talking about female and male preferences. According to the lab Sports Psychology Consultation, The Influence of Gender on Learning Styles, females are able to change techniques easier, they are more able to trust the coaching taking place, they are more willing to change techniques, they are more aware of their preferred feedback, and they obtain more interpersonal control than males do. On the other hand, male athletes are more able to cope when coaches ask them to change current technique and give advice without becoming frustrated and quitting. They are physically more capable of changing technique, they naturally obtain more skills, and they are more likely to meet the specified standards of a coach than females are. With all the information I obtained, I created a survey and sent it out to the upper school athletes here at University Liggett School to help me understand their personal thoughts and preferences with different coaching styles and learning habits. Such as here you can see that over half of the athletes answered that their coach followed a controlling style. This was really surprising to me, seeing that with my research, a controlling style is not the most beneficial to athletes. And when asked if this coaching style helps the athletes to improve their game,
The majority of females, so 54%, answered just a 3 out of 4 that it helps them, and only 29% answered 4 out of 4 that it helps them all of the time. And another large chunk answered a 2 or 1, so on the negative half of the scale, that it does not help them. This goes to show that coaches are not getting through to female athletes to the same extent as males, seeing that 56% of males answered their coach's coaching style that they follow helps them all of the time. When asked their preference on positive or negative incentives, an overwhelming majority of both males and females answered that positive incentives help them the most, and female athletes are more likely to prefer some sort of combination of the two. Some more questions I asked are how motivated you are to improve your skills in your primary sport, and as you can see, the overwhelming majority answered a 5 out of 5 that they are completely motivated to improve their skills. When asked how willing to step out of their comfort zone to change current techniques, most athletes answered 4 or 5 out of 5 that they are completely willing to step out of their comfort zone. And when asked how frustrated they feel, this went along with my research that females are much more likely to feel frustrated when asked to change current techniques. Based on my research and results from my survey, I had the privilege of speaking to the Liggett coaches and offer some recommendations. So allowing freedom in athletes to take the game into their own hands is going to have a really positive effect. Doing this will support them in their wish for independence and essentially increase their overall enjoyment by making the game their own. Although there must be some variation of both positive and negative incentives, constant positivity is probably the best way to enhance and prolong motivation, which will allow for more satisfaction and success in both genders of athletes. It's important for a coach to communicate with their athletes and to establish a relationship with trust, especially with female athletes. Communication can help both coach and players' abilities, seeing that if one is helping the other, then the opposite is also taking place. So those are the suggestions I have. Thank you so much for listening and for your time.